Hey, Astamura, welcome. Glad you're here. Yeah, it's been a good week. Like I say, a lot of changes going on in my life right now. So it's been a very interesting week, but I'm nervous and excited about new things that are coming around. So yeah, that is true. No, it's good changes. I'm uh, I'm going to be changing jobs after 22 years. So getting that process started this week was took a bit of work, but now we're on that path, and I'm anxious to get started. There's always a little nervousness that goes into making big life changes and things like that, but those things just tend to focus my attention and that sort of stuff. The nervousness is never a bad thing for me. Going all the way back to my military days, it just helps focus my attention and my thoughts on matters at hand and helps me get through it. So I'm anxious, but yet very excited at the same time. So looking forward to it. And I appreciate that. Thanks very much. Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Yeah, Stummer, it's not like it's an uncommon thing that I'm dealing with. For me, I had one job. I mean, I had 1,000 jobs when I was a kid, but every kid does. But when I graduated, I had one job. Um, had that job for 4 years, and then one of the people there left and started their own company, and I became the first employee at that company, and have held that job for over 22 years now. But it's time for me to figure out what to do with the last 20 years of my career. And I'd rather be looking for a job at my age than 10 years farther down the line. So I'm taking the opportunity to move somewhere where I can finish out the last, 15 to 20 years of my career and not have to worry about making any more changes. So I'm looking forward to it. Well, thanks, but yeah, I mean, I would hope that everyone would do that. I made a decision many years ago when I really got into my first scary combat situation, after that was done, it made me reevaluate a bunch of things in my life. And one of the things that I decided then was that I was never going to spend another day doing something that I didn't want to do. Life is just too short for that to happen. And I am in a situation where I have a lot fewer responsibilities than some other people do. I don't have a family, I don't have kids. So my life is my own, and I can choose how I want to live it. And if I don't want to be doing something, then, like I say, I'm just simply not going to do it. I'm going to go find something else that makes me happy to do. And I love what I do. I've always loved it. I'm one of those few sickening people who actually loves their job. That doesn't always necessarily mean that you love the place that you're doing your job. And those two things for me need to be in concert with each other. Loving my job is not necessarily enough to make up for me not loving the place where I'm doing it. So if I can find somewhere else to do that job that suits me better, then, you know, I'm gonna go do that. So I would hope that a lot of people feel that same way, but then again, I know that I have a relatively easy life compared to a lot of other people with more real-world responsibilities than me. So I certainly get it. But weekends like this, where I get to play video games, always helps my week improve. I'll say that. And today is going to be a very interesting episode for a lot of you, I'm sure. Hey, Rudy, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. It's been a good week for me. I hope you had a good one as well. I'm the exact same way, Lord Henry. Ever since I got to play on my uncle's Intellivision. He did not have Atari. He had Intellivision back when I was a kid. And then my friend's Atari, we could never afford any of that ourselves when I was a young kid. And then I saved up and got my very own Nintendo for myself, and that really started things off for me. And that was 40 years ago. But then even before I played my uncle's Intellivision the first time, which was 45 years ago, I was playing things like Adventure and Oregon Trail on the Apple IIe at school. And that sort of stuff. So, and Oregon Trail was so hard. for a text-based game on the Apple IIe, that game was so hard. I may have to go see if there's a if there's a port of it to PC just to to go play it again. But I loved adventure. I really loved adventure. I would sit down and make my own map based upon, you know, the turn left, turn right, go forward mechanics in the game and that sort of stuff. I really loved adventure when I was a little kid. That was 3rd grade, I think, for me. 3rd grade, maybe 4th grade. Welcome, everyone, to today's episode number 31 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on some admin notes, today we are changing the schedule for the streams. I put up a community post about it. I put up a post on Threads about it as well. The Dragon Age, the Veilguard live stream is moving to its normal time, which is 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is Greenwich Mean Time -6 right now, on Saturdays. Because of the NFL football season, I can't stream at this time, or else I'd be missing a football game, so, and some time with my friends, obviously, before the game. So the Sunday streams move to Saturday. So we have 6 hours today. We're going to do 3 hours here for Baldur's Gate 3, then we'll take a 1-hour break so I can grab some lunch, give my voice a little bit of a rest, and then we'll be back for another 3 hours for Dragon Age the Veilguard. So if you're interested in that stream, please feel free to join, and that will stay all the way through January, give or take, depending upon how well my team does throughout the end of the season. And we'll kind of then move that stream back to its regular time on Sunday. But for now, just take note of the time change, and we'll all move forward. So I think that's it on the admin notes. And hey, Em, welcome. Good to see you. Good morning to you as well. So on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we allowed Shadowheart to kill the Nightsong. Now, we've been through that before in our Paladin livestream that ended, and we saw the repercussions of that. The last light in is destroyed, Isabel is taken and reunited with her father, all of the tieflings die, all of the harpers get turned to shadow cursed, and you have a big fight with Jaheira being your only ally at the last light in. We allowed Shadowheart to kill the Nightsong in a rather different way, and I put the credit for that method in the description of last week's video, so be aware it was not me that discovered this or came up with it, this method. But we killed the Nightsong in a rather unique way. And at the end of last week's episode, since we had run long, we just kind of left it there. And that's where we're going to jump in today. And now we're going to get to see the repercussions of that action and kind of move from there. Okay, and here we are inside the Nightsong's prison. We are still in the silence bubble, but now that we're done, it doesn't matter. We can drop silence now that this is finished. Okay, and now Shadowheart has some stuff that she wants to say to us.
I've actually done it. A dark justiciar chosen by Lady Shah. It almost doesn't feel real. I wanted to talk to you about that. Lady Shah has bestowed a great honor upon me. But it isn't without a cost, it seems. She expects me to fill my heart up with love for her alone, leaving no room for others. No room for us. If you're truly sure. I'm not even certain myself. As will I. Lady Shah may have honored me, but I think it was you who changed me. She has, and I must continue to prove myself worthy of her favor. The apostate Ketheric Thorm still lives. That will soon change if I have any say in the matter. Lady Shah's church in Baldur's Gate has yet to be cleansed. A rot has set in amongst the leadership, one that I must cut out. Even once all that is done, more will be asked of me, no doubt. The holy work will not be done until the Nightsinger's eternal darkness is restored. There is one other matter. As the chosen of Lady Shah, it is time to carry myself like one. I still carry certain vestiges of a novice. That will no longer do. If I am to lead in Lady Shah's name, I must look the part. Leave it to me. You'll see exactly what I mean soon enough.
Okay, so Shadowheart has fully embraced being Sharan. And the reason that we did that is because the rewards for killing the Nightsong are extraordinarily powerful compared to embracing Selûne and freeing the Nightsong. And that's, a lot of that has to do with Shar's Spear of the Evening. The Shar's Darkness ability here, being able to cast Darkness every turn without using a spell slot, is incredible. Because Darkness is just so incredibly useful in this game. So, even if we don't keep Shadowheart in the party, we can still move Shar's Spear of the Evening around to other people and have them have the benefit of being able to cast Darkness at all times. And it's an incredibly useful thing going through the rest of the game, especially in some of the more difficult fights where Darkness can either trivialize them or just make them a lot easier. So, killing the Nightsong was something I was always going to do in this playthrough. The other things that you get, the Dark Justiciar boots giving you shadow teleportation, which is the very same thing as what you get from the Way of the Shadow for the monk class, allowing you to teleport to an unoccupied, obscured spot. This is once per short rest, which is different than how the monk one operates. But having this ability is, again, incredibly useful. The Dark Justiciar gauntlets, dealing an additional 1d4 necrotic damage, and the strength saving throws is nice. Beckoning Darkness is, again, a 2-turn, 2d8 necrotic damage spell that you can, or ability that you can impose upon something using your bonus action, and you can keep applying it per turn. So you can keep applying it to different enemies, and when you're fighting in darkness, then that's just an additional 2d8 damage that enemy is going to take while they are in darkness. And then the Dark Justiciar half plate, which is nice. I mean, it's not game breaking in any way. It does come with Shar's Aegis, which is basically Shield of Faith. And while you have that, all incoming damage is reduced by 2, and you reflect damage back at the attacker with 1d4 necrotic damage. This you normally don't end up using very much, simply because the darkness in Shar's Darkness is also concentration. And then the last thing that you get out of it... Oh, I think I already have it. You don't get it from this. You just get those 4 items. But I have the Dark Justiciar helmet around here somewhere as well. To complete the Dark Justiciar set. So, but either way, even if we don't keep Shadowheart in the party, getting those 4 items can be incredibly useful. And that's why we did it. So, while we're here, let's take a minute, and I guess first, let's move some of these things. Actually, instead of moving them, we're going to send them to camp instead. Okay, there's the Dark Justiciar helmet. Okay, some of this we want to keep over here, but let's move these things off just to get her unencumbered. Okay, and we'll do a little searching while we're here, because there's some stuff that we want to pick up. The Circle of Bones allows you to cast Animate Dead. Animate Dead is once per long rest. There are quite a few places where you don't need a corpse to be able to cast Animate Dead. Here in the remainder of Act 2, which you'll see kind of as we go along. So it can be useful, but it is, again, once per long rest. We have just a journal here of his, which doesn't give you any more information. And now we're going to go around and hold left alt, and we're going to pick up all of the stuff in here. And there's a lot of it. All of this stuff here is going to be incredibly valuable for us to sell. There's a lot of armor here. That we will be able to turn around and sell almost immediately. So we're just going to go around and pick all this up. I don't care if we get over encumbered while picking it up.
The pride of the gate. I love surprises.
Oh, we'll head over here. Pick up the remainder of the stuff up here and do a quick little search. And just a couple more. There's always one little pixel somewhere up here. where this will work. You always just have to find it. And actually, I'm not interested with playing with Will anymore. I'm just not. We'll bring Shadowheart over here, who has a higher strength, and it'll be easier for her to make the jump. Everybody can make that jump, though. Hello, why is nobody able to make the jump? Okay. And that should be everything that we need to loot in here. So we'll make our way back down here, and we're going to head out of the portal. Now, a couple of things to take a quick look at before we do that. And we're going to look at our quest journal here. So we killed the Nightsong, which made Ketheric vulnerable. Inside the Find the Cure quest here, we're killing everything that seems to be a possible cure for us. But we'll find a way to deal with that later. The Urge, remember here, we had the meeting in our camp with Squire Fell, who told us that he wanted us to kill Isabel. Now, that was here. And now you see that the Dark Urge questline has updated. And it says Isabel is a corpse carried away on the wind. Last light is desecrated. Such a sublime release of all your pent-up frustration. You did well, and this deed will not go without proper acknowledgement. So by killing the Nightsong, we have essentially killed Isabel. And Squire Fell is waiting to reward us. And we're going to find out what that reward is here in a little bit. The options here were to either kill Isabel or to kill our love, which would have been Shadowheart at that time. But because we killed the Nightsong, we have killed the Last Light Inn, and that has basically killed Isabel, according to the game. Okay, keep that in mind. And of course, we have completed the Daughter of Darkness up until now. There's going to be some more continuation of this in Act 3. And obviously, by killing the Nightsong, we've completed that. So, Squire Fell has said that we've done what he wanted. So let's go ahead and exit out of the Shadowfell. And this is going to drop us back here at the entrance to the mausoleum. Okay. And we're going to get an inspiration here for doing that. And the first thing that we want to do is kind of sell off some of this stuff. So let's go back to Last Light Inn and see how bad the devastation is.
When they find out the monster hunter is becoming a monster.
Wait,
I've faced countless
the Last Light Inn is still here?
This will be no different.
Yes, it is.
I've always had a soft spot for confident ones.
I didn't really explain in depth what happened, but the cutscene of the Nightsong dying and the light shield disintegrating around the Last Light Inn and everyone being taken by the curse here, the cutscene triggering is what actually sets the trigger flag for the Last Light Inn to be actually destroyed in the game. It's not killing the Nightsong that sets that flag. It's the playing of that cutscene. If that cutscene never plays, the the last light in does not get destroyed, even if you have killed the Nightsong. What stopped that cutscene from playing is the same thing that stopped the cutscene from playing when we talked to Isabel and prevented Marcus from showing up. The silence bubble prohibited that cutscene from playing. All of your characters have to be inside of that silence bubble for it to work, and that's why it took all that preparation to get it set up. But the silence bubble keeps the cutscene from playing. Since the cutscene doesn't play, the last light in does not get destroyed. All that means everyone is still here, but the Nightsong is dead. The game thinks that because the Nightsong is dead, Isabel has to be dead, because the last light has to be destroyed, but it actually is not. So the game is caught in the middle of a conflict right now. And that's going to be to our benefit, because we're going to get the reward from Skeleritas Fell without having to destroy Last Light In, or either kill our lover or pass some pretty hefty persuasion checks to avoid that. So let's go ahead and sell off our items here. And we're going to take full advantage of the Last Light In here while we can. And let's go through and start unloading. All of this stuff. Oh, Lord Henry, this is not just cheesy. This is full-on been left out in the sun for a week, smelly Munster cheese. And again, I put the notification or the credit for who discovered this in the description of last week's video. So this is not me that discovered this in any way, so don't think I'm trying to take credit for it. But yeah, it took him diving into the game code to find out that the trigger was not killing Nightsong. And it has nothing to do with killing Nightsong. It has to do with that cutscene. And once he figured that out, he worked out a method to keep that cutscene from triggering. And we are going to take full advantage of that game code in this playthrough. So let me go through and sell off as much of this as I can. 2033, and let's take a look at what she has to offer. We're definitely taking the Cloud Giant strength. Don't have any really decent. We'll take the Arcane Interference arrow. We're going to take the Scroll of Disintegrate. And we'll keep working our way through this. Just quickly selling off all of this stuff. Because there's going to be a lot more of this stuff that we're going to be picking up. And we're going to come back here and continue to sell it all off as we go. 2, 1, 2. Okay, and again, I don't need the incandescent staff. Hey, Andy, welcome. Welcome to the stream.
Take care now.
Okay, and then we can head over here because the tieflings are all still here. Damon is here.
Need anything?
I don't see any buffering on my end over here, Andy. It might be you this time. We'll take the arrow of many targets, the arrow of dragon slaying, the arcane interference arrows. I'm not taking the harmonium halberd. Make sure I didn't leave anything else in down here. Nothing else that I need.
I'll be here if you need anything else.
Okay, and we'll take a quick look and just show you that the last light in is still perfectly good. Jaheira is still here. Yeah, it might be, Andy. I hope you get it working. And Isabel is still alive. The game just thinks that she isn't. And like I say, we are going to take full advantage of that. Let's go do a couple of things. So, first of all, let's go back to camp and remove Will and bring Astarion back in the party.
So, Shah's chosen walks among us. How lucky we are. Still, if this means we can take a shot at Ketheric, it may well be worth it. Well, obviously I would, but you have... Well, in that case, I'm all yours.
Okay, and we'll have a couple of conversations.
Bring us closer.
Shadowheart's really done it now. She's crossed the line she can never uncross. Killing a restrained enemy, one who never did shit to you, that's just low. Even for a Sharan.
And you're going to get everybody reacting to Shadowheart killing the Nightsong here.
It was unsightly watching Shadowheart slay the daughter of Selûne. I didn't think she would sink so low.
The moon weeps for what Shadowheart has done. For her sake, I hope the approval of her goddess was worth it.
Lady of Sorrows, guide us. Did you want something?
Okay, and let's get a couple more reactions down here.
Brave choice. To kill the child of one god at the behest of another. Shadowheart's loyalty plumbs darker depths than I anticipated. Let's hope the fruits of this cruel labor are to her advantage. And ours, of course.
Hey, Will.
A veritable angel, chained and tortured for centuries. To think she was so close to freedom. Unfettered slaughter. No more and no less. I thought better of Shadowheart. That was my mistake.
And last is Minthara.
Despite my antipathy toward Shah and her devotees, I feel honored to fight alongside a dark justiciar. Their power is legendary.
Okay, so let's go ahead, now that we've got our normal party back here. We're going to go ahead and take a long rest. We don't need to take a long rest here, but we might as well. And nobody's going to have any more conversations for us, so we'll go to bed.
Your mind is heavy. The devastation of last light is sure to pique the interest of the vile Sceleritas.
Oh, apologies for the tardiness, my festering liege. Ha! The cleric and last light, all are now but an ichord slag heap. And it was all your own work. You didn't even need your butler's advice. You have acted with the utmost decorum. First the bard, now this triumph. A part of your past is here for you. I come with your disgusting prize. Oh, soon enough, everyone in the Sword Coast and beyond will know about you. But you yearn for the sordid scandal deep down, don't you? Come closer, my depraved prodigy. Try on your new gin jams. They're a present from Father. It would be rude not to. Oh, such a strapping young behemoth.
You cannot speak, but you have command over your own cruelty.
Oh, yes. Please, wondrous manslaughterer, kill me. That was so refreshing. Thank you. Your clothes hit like a kiss. Every death brings a new, brighter, better Sceleritas into this world. You would be lost without your butler, but you shall never be without me. This foam is the Slayer. You will do many naughty feats with it. Oh, I wish I had time to wax your hide and brush your spines. But your adoring butler must away. But you should be hopeful for your bright future. You are going to kill again soon. You will keep chopping down the Moon Maiden's family tree. I shall return when you next have need of me. I have your estate to attend to. We will meet again there. Good night, sweet master.
Okay. And now we're going to have some conversations that need to be had. The reason you probably don't remember this storyline, even if you played as the Dark Urge, Andy, is because the only way to get it is by killing Isabel. And very few people make the choice to kill Isabel because of the ramifications that it has for Act 3 and the things that you miss out on. This method that was discovered is a way to keep all of the benefits of the things you get by saving the tieflings, while at the same time tricking the game into thinking that you've killed Isabel and getting the Slayer form as a result of it. You also get the benefit of having killed the Nightsong, and as such, you get all of the increased powerful items for Shadowheart. So there are a bunch of benefits to doing this. There is a downside, which we will see coming up a little bit later. But it's a relatively minor downside as far as I am concerned. But the game now thinks that you have killed Isabel and the Last Light, but you really, in actuality, haven't. Okay? What you have now gained is access to the Slayer form. Now, this can be used as a bonus action, and it is once per long rest. So your Slayer form has 98 hit points. It increases to 153 hit points at level 10. We're level 9 right now, so once we level up again, it's a big jump in the amount of hit points the Slayer form has. While in Slayer form, you can't talk or cast spells at all. It's not a conversation piece. It's not there to handle any of your spell casting abilities or anything like that. It is like Wild Shape. It is just a very powerful version of Wild Shape. When you drop to 0 hit points, you revert to normal form. Now, this is a bonus action once per long rest, but you can utilize it when you get into trouble, for instance. If you drop down to low hit points and you don't necessarily have a way to heal yourself or something like that, you can transform into the Slayer and have a new pool of hit points that maybe can get you through the combat. So the Slayer form, we're actually going to try this out when we go through some of the fights that we're about to get into here in a little bit. So you'll get to kind of see it in action a little bit and see what it can do. So let's go around and have our conversations, because there's going to be a bit that people want to say, and some of the conversations are actually a little humorous.
Hey, soldier.
Okay, so nothing from Karlak. Do we want to cast Speak with Animals?
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
That's a very interesting question, Lord Henry. I don't know if it does or not. We'll take a look at the damage, because we are going to use it. We'll take a look at the damage and see. And yes, Andy, I did turn up the volume a little bit. Let me know if it's okay.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. All I know is I thought of you when I saw it.
It's not like a dog to give up salami.
Greetings.
And you're going to have this conversation item with some of the people up there. Now, some of this will give you some disapproval in a couple of areas.
A fitting name. But have you become the Slayer? Or has the Slayer merely found a host too weak to evict it? I shouldn't need to say it, but be careful who you take as an ally. Especially when that ally's taken residence inside you.
Okay, let's go talk to Astarion.
My sweet conflicted villain. What can I do for you?
Okay, nothing there.
Oakfather preserve you. Most unnatural. Most foul. Nature is a cycle of life and death, yet this form only serves death. Worse, it only serves murder.
Okay, so like I say, not everyone is going to be happy about the fact that I have this.
There's little I can say to you, I'm afraid. There's nothing for you and I to discuss.
That's interesting. I didn't run into any issues with that. We'll check her when we get out of the camp. I didn't run into any issues with this one, with her, in my testing, but we'll see.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Honestly, I didn't know you had it in you. A dark destroyer in our midst. It's certainly one of the more unsightly shape-shiftings I've seen, but we can't all be blessed with the elegance of an Asimar transforming in the heavens, can we? Beggars can't be choosers. Such a powerful form should serve us well in the chaos to come.
Well met.
Now, this conversation, I think, gets disapproval from Will.
Hells, is this really what you've become? The kind of monster I once vowed to slay? Don't bother answering. I already know.
And last is Minthara. I don't think she has a conversation option.
You wish to consult me?
No. Okay, so we're going to leave camp, and again, I'll just try one last time to talk to Shadowheart. If we can't, I'll try when we're outside of camp. I know why the icon's
I'll have
there.
to confide in someone else. I'm spoken for.
That's interesting. Okay, so we're going to head to Moonrise Towers.
Notice anything new? This hairstyle is closer to Lady Shah's own image. I did it to honor her. What do you think?
So yeah, this is what you're supposed to be getting in camp. It must have just been a glitch in the matrix there inside camp.
Good. I did this for Lady Shah. For myself. But I had hoped you'd like it as well. You and I have markedly different ideas of what amounts to a gift.
Okay, so let's get our buffs going here. Okay, we need to make sure that we have the sword equipped before we go to Shadowheart. Where's the shield? Yeah, and they still haven't fixed that. Okay, she's got it. Yeah, they still haven't fixed the... when you click on it. Oh, they fixed it for these items, but they didn't fix it for... Ah, I see. Yeah, they did. I just looked at it too quick. Okay, that's my fault. Let's make sure everybody's equipped correctly. Where did his boots go? Okay, yeah, they haven't... What? That's weird. The first time you click on it, it doesn't work. The second time you click on it, it does. Okay. I might have taken Astarian's boots and given them to Will. Yes, I did. Okay. Oh, come on. And now it just doesn't want to click and drag. They broke some things. Oh, that's because his carrying capacity is exceeded. They didn't break anything. I broke that. Yes, now it works. That was not them. That was me. And I don't think any of the rest of this I need. I'm gonna move Crusher's Ring back. I'm gonna move both of these back. But I don't think I'm gonna need them. Okay. Alright. So I think that's it for now. Just make sure, yes. Nope. And I don't need the risky ring here anymore since I'm going to be fighting in darkness all of the time. Let's put the strange conduit ring back on. Okay, and that's... Actually, let's... No, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to make our way into Moonrise now. Now, remember, we have a list of things that we need to do here. So, we need to clear out Moonrise. We need to have an encounter with Ketheric up on the roof. And then we need to head into the Mind Flayer colony. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to clear out Moonrise here. There's a lot of combat to be done here, clearing out Moonrise. The enemies don't do a large amount of necrotic damage. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear out Moonrise. We're going to have the encounter with Ketheric on the roof. And then we're going to buff up. There are 3 sets of buffs that we have not picked up here. We have not gotten the Gale buff from the circle in Balthazar's room. We have not gotten the resistance to necrotic damage from the Sharan altar in the Gauntlet of Shar. And we have not gotten the ability score buffs from the Sharan Sanctuary in the middle of the town square. We're going to go through and get all 3 of those things before we head into the Mind Flayer colony. Once we're in the Mind Flayer colony, you won't be able to take a long rest, but you will have restoration pods that will give you the effects of a long rest. So we're going to keep those buffs as long as we can down there, because the necrotic damage really comes in the fight with Ketheric and Merkel, not necessarily the one we're going to have up on the roof. So we need to work our way through Moonrise. Now this is a little different because you notice the Harpers are not here. That's because the game thinks the Harpers are dead. Okay? So we can go up here and have a conversation with Zarel and everybody like that if we want. We're not going to. We're just going to go clear our way through this. And we're going to start off by having this fight here with Zarel. Okay. Now, Zarel has Counterspell, and you need to keep that in mind while you're going through this. So we're going to start this off with a Slashing Flourish ranged, and we're going to try and remove some of our mirror images here by hopefully missing. If we hit, it's okay, but we want to really start removing those. We hit on both. Okay, that's going to get me a surprise round.
What path lies before me?
I hit again. And I hit again. That's a little crazy. Didn't expect any of that. Let's move up here and see if I can get threatened. I'm still not close enough to be threatened. So I'm going to save the Hex.
Can't afford any mistakes. No time to dally.
Okay, that's going to put Shadowheart in here. And just move her into the back. Okay, so now we can move Astarion up here and not be in anybody's detection cones. Okay. Well, that will end Zarel. So the next most dangerous person here is Zealot Malik. Oh, jeez. Astarion is so OP. And last will be Karlach. Now, Karlach's not going to be able to do a whole lot here. Because she can't throw into darkness, I don't believe. And if she goes into darkness, she's going to be blinded. So let me just check and make sure. Yeah, see, path is interrupted. She can't throw into the darkness. Okay. And if she goes in there, she's going to get blinded, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to keep her back here. If anybody decides to move out of the darkness there, then I will attack them with Karlach.
Nothing will stand in my way.
And I'm not threatened, so we'll just end our turns here.
There's blood in the air.
And yes, I'm definitely going to.
This feels good.
I wanted to get rid of Zealot Malik before I did that, because it is going to take a bonus action. So now we can concentrate on Adept Marin here, and as Amdit said, I wanted to definitely want to bring out the Vampire Bite to get him the happy condition. And you want to do that on a humanoid, so not one of the, you can't do it on the ghouls because they're undead. Hey, that triggered her Death Ward. And that ended her.
Blood comes easy these days.
Okay, that brings up Executioner for me.
Another step forward.
And I want to get my high armor class here in front of the ghoul. I should be threatened now, so now if I use my bonus action to apply Hex, I should get 8 temporary hit points. Perfect.
Can't afford to let up.
And now Shadowheart doesn't really have to do anything here.
In that corpse,
Perfect.
brimming with potent magic.
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have.
Okay, so again, as usual, we'll do a little searching here. Because here, we're going to be getting Mind Flayer parasites as well. So we're at 5. Now we're at 6. Now we're at 7. Now we're at 8. Okay.
No time to rest.
And now we're going to again put everybody in hiding. We're going to break our group, and now here I need to make sure that Shadowheart has a spell prepared. Actually, no. I don't. Yeah, okay, she's got it. So I forgot. It's always prepared with her. We need to have Shatter available to us here. If you have it on a scroll, that's fine. But you need to have a reliable source of thunder damage when you're going through the rest of this. So... yeah, we're gonna see, Lord Henry. We're not gonna use Minthara while we clear out all of this. We are going to use Minthara. We're gonna swap out some characters, namely Karlach, and we're gonna swap Minthara into the party before we go up onto the roof. And before we go into the Mind Flayer colony. We're just not going to do that right now. But since we are fighting in darkness so often now, Karlach is going to be of limited utility for us because her throwing is very, very limited. And... yeah, putting the Shield of Devotion on Shadowheart. Yes, I did want to do that. That gets me an additional level 1 spell slot. So that gets me another access to Guiding Bolt as we go through this.
Let's not get caught off guard.
Okay, so now I'm going to go up here and open up the doors. And we're right at the edge of a detection cone. Okay. So now I'm going to slashing flourish, or actually before I do that. I'm going to take my first short rest. I'm going to use the Song of Rest.
Fresh.
Breathe quiet. Move again.
And again, start with a Slashing Flourish ranged here.
Let's see what you're hiding.
Okay, so I passed my stealth check. There's my failed check. Okay, so now I'm going to move in here, and we're going to gradually get more and more people who are going to be brought into combat here. And I'm going to jump. See if I can get down here.
One day, I'll catch a break.
Okay, that's going to bring the rest of them into combat.
Can't afford to stay idle.
So before we bring Shadowheart in, let's... see if we can get a kill here on the Acolyte. Okay.
Easy as.
And we'll Frenzy Karlach, just in case we end up utilizing her more in this one. And you'll kind of see why here in a second.
What's next, I wonder?
So now we're going to bring up Shadowheart. And we're going to throw a darkness, and we're going to bring this entire area down. Okay, and that brings Shar into Shadowheart into combat here.
Down with you.
Okay, so that missed. Now we can bring Astarion up here into the darkness and not have any detection cones to worry about. And hopefully we can get rid of Zealot Bryn here. That's the goal. The Zealots are dangerous. The Acolytes, or the Adepts, not as much here in this fight. If your positioning is wrong, they can get off a Hunger of Hadar that they will very creatively place. We'll hopefully avoid that. Okay, so now Astarion is invisible. However, that invisibility probably isn't going to last all that long. We have a couple of scrying eyes which have see invisibility. So I'm not going to run him out here somewhere where the scrying eye might be able to knock him out of invisibility and he would be then surrounded by a bunch of people. I'm going to be very conservative with the placement of Astarion throughout this combat here. But I think I can probably move him over here on this side.
A better position.
Away from the two scrying eyes. And I'm not going to use any more of his actions. I want to keep him invisible.
Still on my feet.
Watch this.
I'm going to leave Karlach back there for now. Shadowheart I can move up a little bit. Actually, no, I don't want to. I want to move Shadowheart back here as well.
time to put your tails to the test, warrior.
Because the adepts normally do not want to walk through the darkness. Because I'm sitting back there, they are probably wanting to try and come through the darkness. This is actually perfectly fine with me. And I'm not worried if they call for reinforcements. So... yeah, this is actually perfectly fine with me. I wasn't expecting that they would get into a spot where I could attack them with Karlach, but I'm happy that they are.
Easy.
Perfect. That triggered one death word. We can get all the way back here.
Be quick.
With Astarion. Triggered death ward already. Oh, I'm just that much short. Perfect.
Behold the dance of death.
Okay, Karlach, I can move up.
Incoming.
To focus.
Okay, and now let's use our shadow teleportation here. With Shadowheart. Need to make sure... Okay, now we're going to... drink a potion of speed, and we're going to cast Shatter out here. Okay. Then we'll get back into the darkness. Okay, so Shadowheart's gonna pop back out here. Again, I need to be careful with our movement now, because we do have our reinforcements. Okay. Outstanding.
Survival is all that matters.
And we'll talk about that here in a second.
Shall we dance?
So let's go in with Astarion now on land. I don't think he's even going to need to use his key points. kill Lantarv, and he doesn't need to.
Step quick.
Where do I go from here?
Okay, so we have the Zealot here. No. Reapply Hex first. All right.
No time to dally.
Now, we'll group everybody up here,
No.
but we are not out of the woods here by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? And because of that, I'm going to kind of go exploring a little bit. Okay, so here is the kitchen. Okay, and this is what M was referring to, is that the consequences of killing the Nightsong not only make the game think that you have destroyed the last light, but it makes the game think that you are even more allied with Moonrise Towers. And as such, that's why when I first showed up at the entrance, Zarel was not hostile. I could have talked to Zarel there. I'm not interested in doing that. I want all the XP out of this I can gain. But you have much different options there. And as such, the gnolls that we befriended when we had them kill Lincella previously are not going to be here. Because it's not the traditional, you've angered all of Nightsong, so the gnolls are going to fight on your side type of encounter. That is not what has happened here. What has happened here is that we have angered Nightsong by attacking Zarel at the front gate. Okay? So things are a little different here in how they play out because of the method in which we have progressed through the Nightsong encounter. So you're not going to get any help here at all with any of the fights inside of Nightsong. You are completely on your own. There are no Harpers, there are no gnolls, there's no anybody else that is going to come to help you here. You are entirely on your own fighting through this. Now that's not something that I really care about while going through this. So again, not something I'm really worried about. I'm going to be able to make my way through this just fine. And we're going to see our next encounter over here. You see there are some things wandering around above us that are now hostile because everything that's left in Moonrise is now hostile towards us. Okay, one of the zealots that is normally here was called as a reinforcement. He's here. He's now dead. But we now have Mig and Acolyte Kimmeral here who are hostile towards us. Okay, so I did get a surprise round out of that. I wasn't expecting one, but I'll take it. And that will end that. I'm going to move back around the corner here. Actually, I don't have to. No, Mig is not surprised. He was surprised. Mig is not, so I'm going to move back around the corner here.
On my way.
Okay. Now Mig kind of turns the corner here and leaves you an approach to get to her.
What am I to do?
I was trying to concentrate.
Let's actually use Karlach here because I can.
Halfling essence.
How many hit points? 32. Yeah, we'll be able to finish this off. Oh, I need to pick back up the lightning jabber. I'm going to throw it again. Because Mig actually has really good rolls when it comes to initiative. Not entirely sure why. Okay. And then Astarion.
If this isn't important.
Should be able to get Astarion right up next to her and finish her off. Okay, not that way. Okay. Perfect.
Must lug my guts through this hell.
Okay, so we'll group everybody up over here. Again, put everybody in hiding. Have Karlach pick up the lightning jabber.
Quietly now.
Do a little searching by everybody here.
The element of surprise. Yes, please.
And we've already searched everything in this room. We're just searching the, or in Moonrise, we're just searching the enemies now. Okay, so let's get rid of some of the camp supplies I know he's picked up. And we'll move over some items here. Okay. And now we can start working on the main room. Now there are 3 enemies in this room. There might only be 2, depending upon who called for reinforcements and how they called for reinforcements. But there should be a zealot on the far side, an adept here, and there may be a zealot back here at the back. He may have been called into this fight out here already. It's actually better if he is, if he's brought out there previously. But we're going to try and take out the adept here.
And away I go.
Okay, so that's the zealot back by the door. Down here. Whoever you attack, you're not going to be able to avoid having him brought into the fight. That's why it's a little better if he normally comes out here during this fight. Then you can fight these two one-on-one, because they're too far away from each other to bring the other one into the fight.
Best must be on my way.
But it doesn't matter, really. At the end of the day, their fate is already sealed. It's just how much damage can they do in the meantime.
Attention. Rat feet.
Lord Henry, is the fight at the prison still there? I'm not sure which fight you mean. You mean down here? We've cleared out everything downstairs. Which prison do you mean?
One, two.
I'm actually going to move. I'm gonna throw again. This should get rid of the death ward. Why is my path interrupted? This should trigger death ward. It did. I'm gonna move Karlach back.
Tactical.
Oh, that's interesting. I had no idea that happened. I'll go down there and check. Might as well. It's just more XP, hopefully. Because I'm getting fairly close to level 10. So I want to gain up all the XP I can. I will definitely go check. So let's move my bard out here a little bit. I want the zealot to go after my bard. If he's going to be able to attack anybody. Actually, you know, I don't think I even need to worry about that. I think I can probably kill, well, initiative. Well, if Astarion can't outroll him on initiative, he doesn't have alert. I'm taking a chance by doing this. Astarion could take a big chunk of damage here if this doesn't work. If I roll initiative higher than him, then I'll be able to kill him. Okay, I did. So yeah, he's dead. So what does he have left? 6? Okay. So the other zealot here is now brought into combat. That is perfectly fine because he can't reach me from there. So I'm going to have Shadowheart come up
Step softly.
and finish the adept off. And then again, he's too far. He's going to have to dash to get to me. Okay. But I can move back a little bit just to be on the safe side. There's no reason not to.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
I've got enough movement.
Let's end this.
Smell blood.
I miss this.
And with Astarion, I'm just going to have him move up here and get ready to come in behind the Acolyte when the Acolyte dashes towards me. Okay, I'm not worried about Abjure enemy. Okay. So now I don't even have to worry about it. Astarion can just finish him off.
Make it hurt.
Start off that. We'll apply Flurry of Blows. Okay, so I missed with one of them. Okay, so I definitely need to use another Flurry of Blows. Alright.
Time to press ahead.
Okay, so Karlak. Pick up the lightning jabber and do some searching.
Yoink!
Whole bunch of valuable armor and that sort of stuff. Okay, so now let's go check out the prison here. Like I say, I have never gone back down here afterward. So we will go check it out. We'll stay up here. We'll go into hiding. We'll break the group. We'll go in one at a time, first with my bard, and see if there's anything down here.
Breathe deep and move.
Okay, so nothing yet. Do they normally spawn right at the base of the stairs? Because yeah, it doesn't appear that there's anything else down here.
They should all be running.
I've got alert, so I'll go walk around and just check. I'm gonna hold left shift as I go, just in case I see any detection cones. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't appear there's anything down here. So there's a different encounter down here. Then again, just because of the state that the game flags are in, it might not be triggering something like that. Because yeah, this is a fairly unique set of game flags that are not really intended to happen all at once. So yeah, some, like Lord Henry says there, some things may be a little bit different, very similar to the gnolls that we just experienced, and that sort of stuff. Now there is one more thing down here to do. And that, well, actually, there's two more things down here. Pilgrim's Soul is angry with us.
I won't give in.
Not entirely sure what he thinks he can do. But he's now done. And this allows us to pick up some other things down here that we didn't have access to previously because they were steel. So there might possibly be one other encounter down here. So we're gonna go around real quick and do this final bit of searching, because there are some good items over here. Okay, a little book about poisons and that sort of stuff. This is Araj's desk here. Again, all this stuff that was marked as steel previously, we weren't able to take, but we want to make sure we get it now. There are some good crafting ingredients down here. This entire room we had cleared out, and now when you move back into this room, you might get another encounter. It's kind of weird sometimes over here, whether or not they spawn. So let's go pick up the rest of this stuff. Oh, and I didn't do searching out here. Okay. So we'll kind of see if the other 3 pilgrims spawn or not. Like I say, it's kind of a weird a weird game state we're in, so they may or may not. If they do, they just tend to pop out of thin air, and you'll get thrown into combat. And now we can pick up all of this stuff that was over here, both in Lantarv's area and Roa Moonglow's area. Jeez. More of that rogue pathing. Now, because Lan is dead, all of his stuff is not marked as steel anymore, but anything that was previously there for Roa is still going to be marked as steel. There's no one around to see us steal it, though, so... Okay, and now Shadowheart can be the one to search. The 2, they're actually still here. We already fought them. One of them is the Acolyte right here. Acolyte Belub. The other one is the other Acolyte that we fought here. So it's actually the same number of enemies that you fight. So it's the same amount of XP doing it this way as you would gain through the normal quote-unquote way of doing this. The difference is the amount of help that you have. That's the difference. Yeah, the crossbow guys are the acolytes. The adepts, the acolytes here are the crossbow guys. The adepts are the spellcasters. But yeah, the 2 that are climb up top are the acolytes. So. Yeah, if you want to go back and look at a previous playthrough, you will see that it's those 2. Because this room here is empty. Mig and Acolyte Kimmerl and the Acolyte from here are in this room here when you come in here with the Harpers. And you don't have Zarel outside. She's in here as well. So the combat is actually a lot more spaced out. But all of the same enemies that you are used to seeing are still here. So you're not missing out on any XP by utilizing this method. And what did Astarion pick up that is weighing him down so much? Okay. Yeah, that is true. There is, like Lord Henry says, you're missing out on some of this loot here because the dead Harpers are not available. That is a very true statement. Okay, so now we're going to take another short rest. And we're going to get ready to make our way upstairs. You can see all the icons for the fight that's about to take place upstairs. Okay, but we got 2 more here to deal with first. All right, and we're going to start this off right here. Again, the Zealot is the biggest threat here. We got a surprise round, which is exactly what we wanted.
Let's have some fun. Not a sound.
Yeah, see that everybody who's now scattered out around Moonrise is normally in that first room down here. With the exception of these that are in here. They're normally still in this room. They join the fight, though. But yeah, all of the same enemies are all still here. You can actually look at their names. I went back to see and calculate if there was a difference in XP between them, and there isn't between the 2 methods of doing this. So I'm going to move Astarion up here, and let's see if we can kill the Zealot.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Maybe.
Just like old times.
Okay, let's move Astarion down here, just in case this doesn't work.
Well, so much for peace.
Use a mobile flourish. See if this will land. Did. Perfect. Now he should be facing me, and he is.
I'm just waiting. Stay low.
So Astarion can now get up behind him. Okay, now hopefully we can finish him off here. Outstanding. Now, should be able to get over here. Use our second action here, and then another flurry of blows. 5 hit points left.
I'm ready.
That's exactly what we want to see.
Off I go.
There's no detection cones now that she's on her back.
Simply begging to be robbed.
Let's move Shadowheart up here. See if she can land a melee. Trigger Death Ward.
Don't be shy.
Now Karlak can move up. And finish this off. Hopefully. What's interrupted? Oh. This little nub on the stairs. You're killing me, Smalls. There it is.
Handy.
Okay. So, Shadowheart and myself, I guess I have a little bit of carrying capacity left. Now I'm done.
Let's get on with it. Now, what might you be hiding?
Okay, and I should be getting pretty close to carrying capacity.
Father, they will die for you.
Okay. So we're going to put everybody in hiding, break the group, and head up the stairs. And this is going to be our last major fight. We have another minor fight to do up here. And then we're going to go back and we're going to take we're going to sell off as much as we can. We're going to take a long rest because there is another cutscene that needs to play. and then we will sell off as much more as we can, and then we'll deal with the fight on the roof. Okay, and for this, I want to kind of play this a specific way, and it's going to depend on the scrying eye. The detection cone on the scrying eye is what's important for me here, so... when it comes back, gonna walk back out here, and it should kind of tuck itself into this corner and be facing this way, and that's what I want to have happen. Okay. Are you gonna come back out here, please? It's not the most exciting gameplay for my chat to watch, for you going around in circles in here. Okay. Here it comes. Gonna come through the door as soon as it passes. Right there. I want to get myself into combat here. And the most dangerous person here is Rhodesia. So I'm going to throw a hex here. That's going to enter us into combat, get me a surprise round. Now, Shadowheart. I need her to kill the Scrying Eye. Because, again, the Scrying Eyes, we've talked about them before, in the different ways to deal with them. Down in the prison, we had Karlach deal with them by throwing them into a chasm. We don't have any chasms here. And the Scrying Eyes are resistant to, or immune to, almost everything. Force damage can work. However, the Ethereal Form means that all incoming damage is reduced by 8, and that's per attack. So if you're trying to use Eldritch Blast or something, you need to roll an 18, or you need to roll above an 8 for it to damage it, and to do it in one hit, you need to roll an 18 or a 19, which is pretty hard at the level of Eldritch Blast that I have. So thunder damage is the way to deal with them. Okay. Oh, and it left it with one. I should have used Destructive Wrath. I was just taking it for granted that it was going to work. And it didn't. So I'll have to use an Eldritch Blast and hope I roll above a 9 on it.
What now?
To get rid of it. And I don't want to do it, but... no, I don't need to kill it right now. We're gonna throw darkness here. Because I want to get rid of the detection cones.
Time to press ahead.
What is it? Stepping stone.
And we'll move Astarion up to take, hopefully take out Rhodesia here. Okay, 84 hit points. There goes 50 of them. Down to 6. Okay. Now, none of that damage that he's doing is going to be able to kill the Scrying Eye. The Scrying Eye is resistant to all normal and magical forms of damage. So even him dealing a 15 or something like that, you cut that in half. That is 7. And then all incoming damage is reduced by 8. That's a 0. So it doesn't do anything to attack him. Now what I might be able to do is use a sneak attack here, because I do have advantage. And the damage boost was enough to kill it. Yeah, see? 1 piercing damage. The damage was 18. Cut it in half to 9 for resistance. Took off 8 because of ethereal form. Left it with 1, but it only had 1 hit point left. So killing them with things other than thunder damage is incredibly difficult. So you really have to kind of be inventive with how to deal with them.
Another fight. Let's go.
Need to stay focused.
Okay, so we will get Hex back up. Because I don't care about the darkness anymore. Because Shadowheart is now able to use her darkness. Now that we're no longer worried about Shatter.
No choice but to keep going.
Okay. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that the Necromites all have Armor of Agathis. I think this might be an honor mode thing. I don't remember Necromites having Armor of Agathis in my other playthroughs. But they have 10 temporary hit points, and until you remove those 10 temporary hit points, if you hit them with melee damage, they're going to possibly damage you with frost damage in return. So you can minimize that by removing those temporary hit points. And that removes Armor of Agathis. Okay. And you're going to see that a lot in the fight up on the roof, too. Okay, now we do have one more fight that we need to have. Rhodesia has the first Mercolite Scourge. We know about this before. It does 1d6 necrotic damage. The 1d4 is coming from me. But 1d6 psychic damage, again, as a damage rider, or 1d6 necrotic damage as a damage rider is very, very good to have. So, and that's actually an interesting question. I don't know if the 1d... No, it can't be. It's not a damage source. It's not listed in the bottom part. But a 1d6 damage rider is really, really nice to have. The Render of Mind and Body is doing more with its 1d8 psychic damage, but a d6 damage rider is very, very nice.
I'll take that.
Okay, and some more items we can steal over here. Okay, let's just take a look here. So Shadowheart has a little bit. Perfect. Just enough to get us through the last little part here.
What path lies before me?
Now, in here, there are a few other things you can take a look at that were marked as steel previously. What are you doing?
Worth a rummage?
Wow.
Onward then.
That... What is this? What is this? I'm gonna lose my mind. I am going to absolutely lose my mind if on honor mode this has trapped all of my people in a stupid glitch in the wall.
What's next?
Let's move.
Astarion can't jump out of there. He'd have to move to be able to jump anywhere, and he can't. I'm gonna lose my mind, chat. Larian, listen to me. You do this to me in my honor mode run, I'm going to book a flight. And I am going to come see you. And we're going to have a long, heartfelt chat
Wits and blades always sharp.
about your game. That's something new. I've heard about all the elevators.
Might be useful.
I've made plans to deal with all of those. I have not heard of getting stuck behind a stupid bookcase. So, everyone out there, there's a new way to end your honor mode run.
Let's try this way.
You can't fast travel in here. We're red bordered. If you if you walk everybody else out and you fast travel, your party member who is still in here does not fast travel with you. That's why I was immediately worried about it.
Let's see.
Is because if you're stuck in here, you do not have a way to fast travel your way out of it.
These boots have seen
It doesn't
everything.
exist. So yeah, that's immediately why I was so upset about it. Yeah, that would have been... And did I not loot anything in here?
Wanna dance?
I thought I came back and looted everything here. I guess I was wrong. So let me just walk around real quick and pick all this stuff up. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what's... Because again, I couldn't move. I don't know if I could target him or not with attacks because of where he was sitting, or if he was glitched in it and I'd just get path interrupted whenever I tried to target him with an attack. Either way, that's a bad news scenario there. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to have furniture try and end my honor mode run, to be honest. And it's entirely due to the pathing. Entirely. It tried to find a way to loot that set of books. The nearest thing to it was going through the bookcase, but it either miscalculates the collision box or does something like that. So the path says, yep, you can get through there, but your character model, once you get there, says, nope, you can't get out. And again, the whole thing is just, it's just dumb. It's just dumb.
I can do better.
I hate that. Okay, so let's see where we can move a few things here. Actually, you know what I can do? Because I'm not going to need... I don't think this fight's going to be that big of a deal. So let's take Shadowheart. And use her to carry this. This is just so I don't have to go leave here again. I certainly could, but... Yeah, and that force close, remember, there's been no autosave in a long time. I'd have had to have redone all of these fights in here. So I immediately thought about that too. And I can send it to Camp Andy. But again, I've got one more little thing to deal with here, and that's it. So I'm trying not to mess up my inventory too much by having to sort through it all when I get back to camp, or something like that. When I've got one tiny little fight here to do, and then I can overload myself all day long and fast travel and walk back to the entrance so I can fast travel out. That one encounter is right here with Squire. Now, you want to have this fight here, because if you don't, you will have to fight Squire up on the roof. Anybody, I should take that back, Squire and a couple of other enemies, if you don't fight them, they will appear in the fight up there. So you want to make sure that you have this and you get this done. Squire's not all that difficult
The gods are watching me.
of a fight to have, but okay. This is kind of glitched out. I can argue with it though. Okay.
Very well.
Alright, so we pick up the last set of things in here, and then we're going to walk ourselves out, we're going to sell off all of this, and we're going to take another long rest.
More for me.
And we're going to head up to the roof. I don't think there's anybody left, but again, I haven't explored 100% of it. I'll go look out there, Lord Henry, and see if there's anybody else with us. I know there's nobody left over here. Okay, so we'll just finish up a little bit of searching here. Hopefully I don't like glitch through a desk or something else here. Now I'm extremely paranoid. Okay, so we'll make our way back out here. And we're going to head out to... Well, we'll do a little bit more of looking around out here.
Softer than a whisper. Just out of view. Let's see what this does. Moving in.
So we'll go out this door and look. Looks like there is. These two still sitting out here. Where am I on XP? Only 1,084 left. Each one of these is 60 XP or so, I think.
Don't waste a step. At the ready.
And I'm not worried about being encumbered and my movement and all that sort of stuff. I shouldn't have a problem. This fight. Since I'm going to be taking a long rest anyway, might as well use up all my action economy here. Okay, let's not take a chance with that.
Watch your back.
Secrecy above all. Got to press on. I'd better take a peek.
Alright, so let's take everybody out of here.
Not to draw any attention. Breathe deep and move.
And we will go get ready for our first encounter with Ketheric. Now, I tested this in my non-honor mode playthrough. I don't think Ketheric has... I think Ketheric only has one honor mode ability. So I don't think the fight should be substantially different, but who knows? I may be biting off a little more than I can chew, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's make our way all the way out here, and again, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Last Light. Once we get out of Moonrise here and we can fast travel, we're going to go to Last Light, we're going to sell off all of this junk. We're going to take a long rest, we're going to change out our party and remove Karlach. And we're going to add Minthara in, so we're going to do a respec on Minthara. And then we are going to sell off anything that we still needed to sell, because they're probably going to run out of gold here. And then when I do that, once I've resold everything, then we will come back here and have the fight with Ketheric on the roof. Now, once we do that, I'm not expecting that to be a very difficult fight. But if either way, we're going to take another long rest, a third long rest after that fight with Ketheric, so that we are 100% full on our action economy, and then we're going to go collect all of these buffs that we still haven't gotten. The buff here in the Sharan Sanctuary, the buff to cut necrotic damage in half from Shar's Gauntlet, and that sort of stuff. We will come back and do all of that, and then we will head into the Mind Flayer colony. But we won't get probably into any of that today, if I had to take a guess looking at the time. So let's go and sell off as much as we possibly can here.
If you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
Okay, I don't need the Summon Golem Bell anymore either, now that Balthazar is dead. Okay, and we'll need to send some of Karlach's stuff to... Okay, so we did pick up Dwarven Splint Mail, which I'm actually going to send later. I'm going to send to Minthara. 2076 and a Splint Armor +1. That's way too much. Let's see what she has here. So, lightning resistance, psychic, radiant resistance, another potion of speed to replenish what I lost, arrows of many targets, another scroll of disintegrate. I'll take the smoke powder arrow. Okay, so now where are we? She has 1,000 left. Okay. And we're going to run that out pretty quick here. Okay, so the armor is what's obviously going to do it. 359. Don't think I can sell off the plate. 207. Seven, getting closer. 3, 4, 5. And 7. Perfect.
Take care now.
Now we'll go over to Damon.
Need anything?
And unload the rest of this. Damon normally doesn't have nearly as much gold. Okay, so we won't be able to sell off any of the plate. It's not necessarily a bad thing, though. 21, 50. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm doing it, Lord Henry. The only reason that I'm subjecting you all to this, because, again, I realize it's not the most exciting gameplay, is because you need all of this money for Act 3. Act 3, it's stupid. It is literally stupid how expensive stuff is in Act 3. It's insane. And every bit of gold that you can collect now is of huge benefit later on. That cannot be overstated. So yeah, I apologize while I go through all this, but I'm not going to apologize for the gold that I am getting out of this. Okay, 4 pieces of plate armor left. That's another 1,000 gold worth. You can see what we're up to. Okay, so we're gonna dump off a bunch of that before we go into the fight. And I don't think I raised the attitudes of anybody in here. Yeah, I didn't. Oh, I did on Barkus. Oh, what do you know?
Yes? I'm sure you would.
Yep, I did. So I'll probably be able to sell off the rest of these based upon what I see for arrows. Aberration slaying and dragon slaying and many targets. Absolutely needed. And I think that's probably... I'll take the potion of invisibility. Okay. So let me make sure that there aren't any random +1 or +2 items sitting in here. That we picked up anywhere. I don't think that there are. Ah, these metallic gloves. Okay.
Now, if you're done rifling through my things...
I am, Barkus, but thank you for the last bit of gold. So, let's... real quickly... move these around, and we're going to send half of this gold to camp. Karlak will send all of her gold to camp. That goes to Astarion. Always keep that one candle.
What now?
Okay. Just a couple more here. Should be really quick. And last is Shadowheart here. Want to send all of that gold to camp. I think I forgot to send to Astarion. Doesn't have any gold. Good. All of the scrolls into the scroll book. And all these camp supplies can go to me, and that's it.
Careful, I bite.
Alright, this should be the last of my inventory management here. That was the wrong spot. Where did my alchemy pouch go? I'll figure that out later. Okay, so let's take a long rest here. Because we definitely want to have a cutscene here before we go. There shouldn't be any more conversations that we need to have.
How much farther can I go?
So let's just take our long rest. And I believe we might have already had the cutscene, but if we haven't, I want to have it here. Okay, so we have had it. I think I remember we had it last live stream. The cutscene with being able to pet both Scratch and the owlbear cub at the same time. Okay, so now for Astarion, just to make it easier to walk around. And how much... Or how many do we have? Do we have any? We've got one, and that's it. I'm going to save that for Merkel. Hey, and now we want to go talk to Minthara.
What's going on?
Because we need to spend a few minutes, bring her into the party, get a respec done on her.
I want to have a word.
You wish to consult me? Admirable ambition. But you must make room for me first.
And we're going to leave Karlak behind.
Ready when you are.
And we're going to have Astarion check on how much gold we have in withers. Perfect. And now we'll respec Minthara. Now, there's a specific build that I want to move her into, but it is going to change. But for the most part, I think we should be fairly familiar with this build because it's very similar to the Paladin build that we put together for the Paladin livestream.
When I speak, you listen.
Ah, another. I shall be here in thy camp. For as thou desire.
Okay, so she is a paladin. She's an Oath of Vengeance paladin. Let's take a look at our abilities here, because this is where things are going to change a little bit. Our strength, we're going to dump strength. Again, there's a reason for that. Our charisma, we definitely want to be the +2. Our constitution is going to be our +1. So we're going to dump intelligence. We're going to dump our strength. And from there, the remainder of our points we need to put into making sure that we roll high in initiative. But remember, we're going to be wearing heavy armor, so we're not going to be gaining any dexterity bonuses to that. It is purely for our initiative. And then also making sure that we have as many hit points as we can. And that's why our constitution, I'm going to be favoring it a little bit more than our dexterity when we go through this. Now, 2 ability points left after this. That's not enough to raise either one of... I mean, I could raise my constitution to 16, but that wouldn't leave me another odd stat. And I do want to use ability improvement to get her up to 18 for one of her feats. So I'm going to just put those 2 back into strength to not give me a -1 on that, but doesn't really matter as much. Her skills, I honestly don't care about. Oath of Vengeance is perfectly fine for this, so I'm going to keep it as that. Now, as we go through the level up here, Paladin level 2 is fine. We'll go ahead and take this, and we're going to take a fighting style, and our fighting style is going to be great weapon fighting. We're going to be two-handed for this part of it. There's going to be a respec for Minthara a little bit later, where I focus more on the defensive aspects of this, and again, there's specific reasons for that we don't really need to get into now at this particular point. I don't care about preparing my spells. And now here we want to make a change. Okay, and that change is we want to add in Warlock. And again, there's a very specific reason that we're going to do this. Subclass is the great old one. For my spells, I'm not going to take either one of those. I'm going to take Hex and Hellish Rebuke. Now we get our first set of Eldritch Invocations. Okay, definitely want Devil Sight. We are going to be fighting in darkness from here on out. All of our party members need to be able to fight in that darkness. So Devil Sight is an easy way for me to get it with my dip in Warlock. Agonizing Blast is fine. I'm going to take Repelling Blast here with her, though, for her Eldritch Invocation. I want that ability to push people back more than the additional damage from it. On Honor Mode, the additional hit points, you can't really make up for it nearly as easily with Agonizing Blast. For my spells, for here, this is something I hadn't thought about. You know, I guess we can take Dissonant Whispers. And then Warlock, level 3. Now, Warlock level 3, we get our Pack Boon. We're going to take Pact of the Blade. The reason that we're doing that is because it's going to allow me to use my Charisma as my attack stat. Okay? So, I don't want to have to boost both Charisma and Strength as a Paladin. I want to be able to focus on one and dump the other. So, Pact of the Blade is going to allow me to do that. As far as my spells go, I always want another person that's available to use darkness. We should have 3 people that are able to cast it out of the party right now, so no matter where we roll in the initiative order, I've got somebody who can throw that out there. And that's definitely a bonus for me. Actually, I don't need it, because we're going to get it as a racial bonus. Take that back. So I'll take Misty Step instead. And, yeah, I don't need to replace anything. Now that we've got our 3 levels in Warlock, there's no point in me going any further with that. The only reason I would be doing it is to take a feat. We're going to take our Paladin level up more now, though. The intent here is that we're going to end up with 2 levels in Fighter here for Action Surge, and that we end up with levels in Paladin for, obviously, our Smite choices. So, for the build that we currently have, it's going to be kind of, like I said, I'm going to be changing this build a little bit later. So, for now, I'm going to be taking all of the remaining levels that I have in Paladin, and I will get my feet there. And let me make sure, because if I do 2 levels now, I'll be at level... Okay, so I can still do it. So I'm going to make a change to what I was going to do. Let's go with Fighter now, and we're going to go with Protection here, or Defense here. That just gets me a straight +1 bonus to armor class. I wasn't planning to do this, so I'm going to scrap these other 2 Paladin levels here and get Action Surge from Fighter instead. And now we'll do the last ones in Paladin. Okay, this is going to get me Abjure Enemy and Vow of Enmity. Now, I don't necessarily need these unless darkness fails or darkness doesn't blind a target, because otherwise I'm going to have advantage all of the time. But it's always a good backup for me to have. Now, Paladin level 4 is going to get me my feat. And for my feat here, I'm going to be taking Great Weapon Master. I think we all know why. The additional damage and the additional bonus attack that you get after you kill an enemy are incredibly useful. So now I need to get her outfitted, and some of that is on Karlach. Specifically, the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane. She's going to be using the Dwarven Splint Mail. This is going to up her Constitution +2. Okay. And the Disintegrating Nightwalkers come off of her. And I'm looking, yep, Caustic Band comes off. Herald comes off. I don't need the Ring of Flinging. I'll take Brood Mother's Revenge, and I'll move the raspberries over here. I'll swap these. Give her a trash bag. Karlach is going to send all of this to camp. Give her a potion sack. Give her a key ring. Okay, so let's see. Definitely want to move these over. There was something else we could sell. Yeah, and I'll take a look at it here in just a second. Oh, yeah, there was... Okay. So, where is the helmet that I'm looking for? Okay. There it is. And the cloak, there's not a whole lot here. It's going to matter. The gloves are on... Arlac. Right there. And... I should have written down where these items were in my notes. When I went through this, I apologize. No, it's not here. It's here. I believe it's in one of these. There's the Ring of Free Action. Okay. Now, the thing that you want to do with Minthara, if she's going to be using the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane, is you want to shapeshift her into a Githyanki. Now she gets all the benefits of being able to wield the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane. So she's going to be doing an additional 1d6 psychic damage. She's going to have an advantage on all of her saving throws. She's going to be resistant to psychic damage, and she can't be charmed. Okay, so must-haves. Oh, no, there's the... She had the gloves already. Okay. So now, let's head back to Moonrise Towers. Yeah, I know, I do have a nice collection of camp chests. Doesn't... Yeah, Shadowheart's already wearing the Dark Justiciar gauntlets. I could change them over. I'm more worried about being able to hit Ketheric during this than anything, and this build is specifically for that. It's about Nova damage at this point. I need to try and not let Ketheric do a damaging turn to me. That's the entire point of what we're doing here. And we'll see how well that works out. So let's get our buffs. Okay, and now we're going to have Shadowheart apply the elemental weapon buff. But this needs to go to
You need my expertise.
Minthara. So let's have her equip that.
I hope this is important.
Okay.
For your sake.
Okay, and now for our elixirs here, going into this fight. So,
Let's get going.
for the one thing that's probably going to happen is that I am going to get hit with Fireball. So, I'm going to... Who has alert? Myself and Shadowheart. Okay, so hopefully Shadowheart and I roll before somebody else. If we do, then this might go a little bit better. But Shadowheart is also going to take an elixir of fire resistance. Minthara.
I am listening.
Going to take an elixir of bloodlust. We haven't seen this very much, but once per turn when you kill a foe, you gain 5 temporary hit points and an additional action. Okay, and with Minthara, that can be incredibly damaging. So we've got fire resistance on 2, we have the Hill Giant Strength, and we have the Elixir of Bloodlust here. And yes, Rudy, good call. We definitely need to have Minthara bind her weapon. So that now this is her packed weapon. Okay, and I think I'm ready to go.
Light on my feet.
Okay, and yes, M is kind of giving you a spoiler alert here. So we're going to head upstairs. And the issue, yeah, I'll talk about it when we get up here. No, I'm done. Don't worry about it. You're, like I say, a lot of people know how some of these things work. So what happens when you enter through this door? Well, you instantly get a cutscene. That cutscene involves whatever characters you brought in, and you immediately run up to Ketheric. Your main character does. You have a cutscene, you talk to Ketheric a little bit, you do a little bit of this, you do a little bit of that, and then Ketheric will knock you backwards, and then the fight will start. And at that point, you your main character starts at one location near the center of the battlefield. The rest of your characters start a bit farther back, but everybody's in combat. If you go in there with one character and you roll well on initiative, then when that character starts their turn, you can bring your other characters in through the door and you pop into the map at a dramatically different location. Okay, and that allows you to manage things, I guess, a little better, but definitely differently. And we're going to do that, but when we go in there, we definitely want to have shape-shifting on my main character. Reason for that is there's going to be a check here, and we definitely want to pass it. Okay, so when we go in here, we also want to make sure that we have guidance cast on us.
Keep it together.
Okay, and now we're going to go in here.
What have you done? What have you done to me?
Okay, so here we have a persuasion check. Okay, and this persuasion check is going to set us up for something later on. So we definitely want to pass this.
There is no redemption, can't you see? It is too late. If Melodia could see all I've done, she'd know. She'd know her husband died long ago with Isabel. Unlike Isabel, he could not be brought back. I haven't forgotten her embrace. Melodia's. Nor Seluna's. But the Moon Maiden did not intervene when my life was dismantled piece by piece. And when I tried to buy it back, it cost me everything. Everything. We are copper pieces in their belts. Tokens to be traded for scraps. You have beaten me, true soul. But the gods beat me first. I am the chosen. The chosen. Did you know that? I gave up everything. My family, my life. I cannot stop here. I must finish what I started. One way or another. Do what I say. Prostrate yourself before me, for if you do not, your suffering will be worse. It is better that you bow. Do you hear me? Bow! The prism. You've had it all this time, you worm. You will bow before me. And if you will not bow, you will break.
Okay, so good. I rolled first. Like I say, much depends upon that first roll. You don't have to worry about the Necromites. It's Sisdera, actually, that you have to worry the most about. On his first turn, Ketheric is going to dash and make his way down here. He's going to mark you as a target for all the Necromites, and he's going to summon another Necromite. He won't normally attack you. The problem is Sisdera. If Sisdera manages to, she normally doesn't, but if she manages to hit you with hold person, this thing goes very, very badly. Okay? Normally, she will throw out other wizard spells, though. Specifically, she will go after Fireball. That tends to be her main thing. But if she rolls before you, and she manages to throw out a hold person and it lands, whoever is up here is just dead. Because then Ketheric will not do any of that other stuff. He will just come and land Divine Smites on you and you're dead. That's just how it works. So now you can kind of see what we're dealing with on the battlefield here. And this is kind of what I wanted to illustrate on how this works. We need to focus our energies on Ketheric. Once he is by far the most dangerous thing on the battlefield, okay? So we need to make sure that we get him to leave the battlefield. And to do that, you need to cause 50% of his hit points in damage. All right? Now, Ketheric, And again, I haven't looked at him in honor mode. I'm pretty sure he's only got one more honor mode ability, though. And that's Horde Strike. So he can... Ketheric can Horde Strike a foe when it is attacked by a minion under Deadly Orders. He will cast Deadly Orders on one of your party members. Then all of the Necromites will focus all of their attacks on that particular person. And when the first one of them, or when you attack one of those, or no, when any of the Necromites attacks you, he will cast Horde Strike. And Horde Strike is a high damaging force spell. Does 48 force damage. It's also going to bane you for 2 turns. Okay? It's a wisdom save to avoid damage. But it is really an unacceptable damage boost. So what you want to do to avoid his legendary action is to not let the... either make sure Ketheric's already gone, or not let your minions attack whoever Deadly Orders has been cast on. Okay? And you'll kind of see how that works here in a second, because we're going to go in first with Shadowheart. Oh, the other thing well, I'll show it when I get in here. Go in hiding. And again, you pop in a much different place. You come in through this metal door down here, which is below the fighting area, and we're going to make our way all the way around the outside here. Behind all the Necromites. And we're going to make our way up the stairs here. The other thing about Ketheric, he's got a high armor class. He's hard to hit. Okay? The thing about Ketheric, though, is that nowhere in here is he available, or is he able to see in magical darkness. That means that we can gain advantage to hit against him. It doesn't decrease his armor class. It just gives us a much better chance to be able to hit him. But we need to blind him to be able to do that. And that is what we are going to do starting off. Okay, I actually rolled first ahead of Ketheric, which is really, really good. But again, Shadowheart has alert. Okay. So now he's blinded. So we have advantage. But you can see Shadowheart still only has a 51% chance, even with advantage, to hit him here. Okay. However, now we have our full actions available to us since we rolled first here. All right, Ketheric is undead. Okay, and I need to look and make sure he's got a +6 bonus to saving throws. He's resistant to necrotic, but not immune to it. Okay, so now that we have this cast, okay, we're going to throw a destructive wave here. Okay, you can see the AoE, so we'll move down here a little bit. See if we can cast it from in front of him. Deadly Orders has not been cast yet. Okay, it's not going to hit Sistera, but it will get these two. Okay, and that knocked Ketheric prone. So now we'll go in with Minthara. And we will again make our way up there. Okay, what happened here? Oh, it didn't kill him. Oh. That's disappointing. Okay. It didn't kill them. So they're facing the wrong way. There is something that we can do about that, but it's going to leave my bard seriously exposed. I think we do it anyway. Yeah. I think we do it anyway.
Don't waste a
So I'll move my bard up here. We're going to slashing flourish ranged here on these two necromites. And we're going to do it again. And we will throw Hex on this one. And that gets me my bonus hit points. Now they're gone. Normally what I would do is I would cast Darkness on myself here to keep me from getting hit by the necromites. I'm not gonna have that option now.
Soft, silent.
But now the detection cones are gone.
I see a path.
Okay. So I have, with Great Weapon Master, I've got a 44% chance to hit. I'm definitely turning that off. Okay. And Soulbreaker, I have a chance to stun Ketheric. With a 75% chance to hit. And we need to, before I do this... Almost forgot. So we're going to go with Soulbreaker here. And see if we can land this 75% chance and then see if he gets stunned. We'll definitely throw a crit on top of that. We will definitely throw a crit on top of that. Okay. So she rolled after Ketheric here, but Ketheric's already got half of his hit points gone now, and we still have Astarion to bring into the mix. So hopefully we have one turned Ketheric here. And if we have... then I'm going to hope that my high armor class on my bard is able to avoid most of these attacks from the necromites. Like I say, normally I would cast Darkness to avoid all of them. Okay, so with our unarmed attacks, we have an 88% chance to hit here. So let's actually use our bonus action to start. And we'll start with Flurry of Blows. Actually, before we do that, let's change to fire damage because they're resistant to necrotic damage. And I don't care about bleeding here. So let's swap out to fire damage. on our gloves. We should still be on Radiant here. Yes, we are.
My lord beckons me. You have no idea what you're meddling with. You're a pawn, a slave to forces you cannot comprehend. I am the chosen, and you are nothing. Follow. See.
Okay, and now Ketheric is gone.
How can such a thing be possible?
Okay. So, definitely what I wanted to see, and yes, M makes a very good point here, in that I'm going to be able to throw darkness on top of my bard here in a second. But I want to see, I'm kind of getting a little greedy here. So I would really like to get rid of Sistera as well, but I think I won't test it. Let's get right up next to her. So if she moves, we get an attack of opportunity out of it. There's nothing else that we want to do here with Shadowheart. And I won't. Minthara doesn't get that chance. There's the fireball, which I expected. But with high dex, I rolled for half. And I've got fire resistance, which is why I took the elixir. So, that happens sometimes. It's a little strange when you bring characters into combat and they roll on initiative. Sometimes the initiative order gets a little weird. So, it's not uncommon that somebody after me like that goes before me, in actuality. So, not too stressed about it in doing that. So, now I am going to just I could take a potion of speed and cast darkness down here. How many of them are there? 8? I mean, I guess I can action surge and do it without a potion of speed. Okay. Astarion is going to be the one to go after Sistera.
Let's have some courage.
So I can get down there, and as long as I have Misty Step to get back even. So yeah, I'm really not too worried about it. So let's go drop as much damage as we can on Sistera here. She has no resistances. So yeah, let's try and stun her first. Okay, good. She is now completely stunned. He's gonna skip her next turn. Outstanding. Perfect.
On my way.
If I get out of this with only taking 2 points of damage off of that, I will be very, very happy.
Let me strike.
and I don't need to do anything with Minthara's turn. Now the Necromites do not want to come into the darkness. They only have ranged attacks. So they can't fire into the darkness. And that's how this thing works. The rest of this is just a formality at this point. My goal here is to remove... Can I hit him? No, my goal is to remove as much armor of Agathis as I can with these ranged attacks. Because then it opens it up for my melee characters to get involved.
Fresh orders?
Let's spill some blood.
And I have 3 over here for Astarion to go deal with.
You're mine.
Dead. 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 Oh. I'm a tad bit short. Okay, so I'll just move him into the darkness, keep him safe.
Never a dull moment. Concentrate.
Shadowheart doesn't really matter what's happening here.
My victims await.
Okay. How many do we have left? So we got one more here. And he saved. No worries though. So let's get Astarion with his additional attacks to remove the armor of Agathis. And then with his bonus attacks, or his bonus actions,
I thirst for combat.
and you're going to have a bad day. And that is the world's easiest Ketheric encounter on the roof. I honestly didn't expect it to go that easy, I'm not gonna lie to you.
How many die today? How many die tomorrow?
But we did manage to get a little lucky there with the two Necromites who didn't die from the destructive wave. I'm still not entirely sure how they avoided enough damage there to not get killed. But the way to avoid doing that is to not include them in the AoE, just to stay back far enough where you're only hitting Ketheric. Destructive Wave has a really, really good chance to knock him prone. And that, again, makes him easier to hit if you don't already have some way with advantage. But we do, with Darkness. He's just susceptible to it. So that worked out extremely well. And I think with that, we're going to do one more thing so that I have something to do off stream. And that one thing we're going to do is open up this chest up here. Actually, where's Sistera?
Anything of use?
Sistera has a bone key. And that's going to give us the Ring of Exalted Marrow. Now, the Ring of Exalted Marrow has Exhort the Risen, just like Minthara has. Subjugates the undead to your commands, which is basically a control undead spell, once per long rest. The thing that it really has, though, is Ghoulish Touch. Once per long rest, if you land a melee attack, you're going to get a pop-up that's going to ask you if you want to possibly paralyze the target. And they're going to have a Constitution saving throw to make against it, but if they fail it, they are paralyzed for 2 turns. This is something that, for Astarion here, he's going to be giving up 1d4 damage against lightly or heavily obscured creatures, which means everything he fights for the most part, because he's always fighting in darkness. But the ability to paralyze, especially a very dangerous enemy or type of enemy, is incredibly useful. And with as much damage as he can cause, if he can paralyze an enemy with his first strike, his regular action, and then flurry of blows twice, and they're all crits, that is up to 200 damage off of flurry of blows. And then he still has another crit with his unarmed strike, which again could add up to another 50. So it's a force multiplier for the Astarion build that we have. Okay, so what I'm going to do off stream is this. There's a bunch of stuff to search up here. All the necromites, there's a bunch of crates and all that sort of stuff. And now I can fast travel out of here. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go and pick up all this stuff. I'm going to head back to Last Light. I am going to sell it all off, and I'm going to come back here to this same point where we're going to start, except I'm going to have taken another long rest. Okay. I don't necessarily need to, except there's no reason not to. I've used one level 5 spell. I could probably get away with not having that down there, but there's no reason not for me to do it. So what I'm going to do is go loot all of this, take a long rest. Nothing eventful is going to happen. And actually, it will happen. I'm not going to do anything off stream because I need to have the interactions downstairs next week. So for now, I'm not going to do anything except loot this stuff that's up here, and then I will come back to this exact same point. So that brings us to the end of today's live stream. Remember, here in a little bit under an hour, we have the Dragon Age the Veilguard live stream, which is going to start and go from 2 to 5. So I hope to see you all there. So as always, thank you all for all of the comments that we get in chat. I love seeing all of it, and you guys are still reminding me about all the things I need to be reminded of, which I super appreciate. But as always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorwal saying until next time.